Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we're checking out an album from an act named ARCH3R titled JOURN33 ST. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the album on SoundCloud. I'm assuming this is on all digital stream platforms at this point, as it was due for release on the 10th of February, which is a couple of days ago now that I'm reviewing this. I've already checked out 3 tracks from this album previously. We've got MIC, Concussant, as well as Mercenary. And so we're going to be checking out tracks 4 through 12 today, so 9, so it'll be a bit of a longer video, but that'll be good. Looking forward to checking out the rest of the material. I've had a good time with ARCH3R stuff so far, and we're going to listen through this album from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Just get that art for you nice and big on the screen there before we get into Big Bad Wolf, and let's go. It's kind of creepy off the bat, isn't it? There we go, a bit bigger for you. Actually, hang on.
Once upon a time, there was a big, bad wolf. And he said...
I mean, it's just like, sorry to interrupt before we get into the verse. I just love the sound design of like little girl talking, but the big bad wolf, you know, referring to the 3 little pigs. I'll go back a little bit so we can hear the verse, but I just wanted to point that out.
And he said...
It's the big bad wolf and I'm coming for you. It's the big bad wolf, your nightmare's coming true. It's the big bad wolf, I'm the leader of the pack. You can hunt and despise me, but I will pay you back. It's the big bad wolf and I'm coming for you.
Nice use of howling in the background.
And I'll blow your fucking house down. Big bad wolf, yeah, I'm coming for you. It's the big bad wolf, it's the big, the bad, the wolf. It's the, yeah, this ain't no fairy tale. Flip the page of the book of my man, just pierce the veil. Looking through the window to see the image back on it for your life. I'll raise the price, yeah, and make the sale. Fuck, fine, man, just this once. I'll let you run off of the hook and the hunt has begun. Yo, pass the blunt, haven't smoked in months. Having a look for the right is, I'm telling ya, just as fun. I'm needing more meds, I think it's a stretch.
I mean, like to come down like that, to have dynamic range is really good as well. Filtering at the lower frequencies.
I'm seeing what they see inside of my mind. They sounding like shady, I think I'm fine. It's the big bad wolf and I'm taking the puff. It's the big bad wolf, these drugs ain't enough. It's the big bad wolf and I'm hitting the dab. Fuck it, ain't doing shit, so pass me the crack. It's the big bad wolf and
go for the harder stuff.
It's the big bad wolf, shut up, fuck, I'm fine. It's the big bad wolf, think I'm losing my mind. It's the big bad wolf, it's the wolf, it's the, yeah, it's the big bad wolf and I rip at your tooth. Check this chain rum and the canine's the fucking proof. If you come at me, if you wanna play a fire, then I'll come at you. Ask around, that's the town, that's the dead in the ground, that's the head of this clown, that's the fucking truth. When you get on the street, on the track, on the beat, on the plaque or in the booth, fuck your life goes poof. One day I was walking through the woods, saw a little girl with a basket in a hurry. She was rugged up in a cloak with a hood. What happened next made her read as such a gruesome story. I was a monster out of the womb, murdered my parents while singing.
Oh, so he's the big bad wolf.
Who would have knew that the child of a predator was fucked up too? It's the
The child of a predator was fucked up too. That's an interesting sort of interlude there.
bad wolf and I think I'm a monster. No one will save me and nobody wants to. It's the big bad wolf and I killed the whole pack. There's nobody left and I can't get them back. It's the big bad wolf and I'm getting a gun. It's the big bad wolf, can't undo what I've done. It's the big bad wolf, now I'm pulling the trigger. It's the big bad wolf and nobody will miss ya.
Cool, pulling the trigger and then we have the gunshot fall at the end. Nice, well handled. I do appreciate getting lyrics for tracks like this, you know, for the big bad wolf. See, that's the thing that kind of confuses me. Like, with this track, I can see there it's the big bad wolf and I think I'm a monster. So it's talking about how like he's a predator out of the womb and everything like that. Is this song almost trying to sort of like imply that he feels regret over what happened to the Little Red Riding Hood? I was a monster out of the womb, murdered my parents singing a tune. Who could have known, who would have knew that the child of a predator was fucked up too? So were his parents the one that killed Little Red Riding Hood? Yeah, I mean, the first part of the track, it kind of implies that they are the problem, I suppose. But then the second part is saying that like they're aware they're the problem, but they don't necessarily want to be like that. They've gotten rid of everyone because they're just so kind of violent or abrasive. And in the end, I'm not really sure what we're turning the gun on, but the song ends like that. Yeah, I'm not really sure whether to take that as a sign of sort of self-awareness or that we're that sort of dangerous and stuff and you can't sort of like predict what we're going to do next. The track itself, outside of the vocals, though the story's been told, I think the vocal flow is great, very confident lines in the wood coming through, nice sort of mixture of different rhythms with the 16ths and triplets and stuff like that. There was nice sort of foley with the wolf howls and such like that in the chorus, which makes sense with the Big Bad Wolf title. The drums and sort of bass were dominant. There might have been some synths in the background of sub-labs with the bum, 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 bum. But outside of that, it was fairly minimalist in regards to the layering. There was an interesting sort of like resonance in the EQ section. I'm wondering if that will continue. I don't mind it. It sounds very, very clean. It's positive. It's just an interesting tone to it, but we'll see how we go with the next track. But it's still an interesting way to start an album, or start from the fourth track, I suppose. I've got track number 5, Mate. Starting with guitars this time. Nice to have something quiet here.
Yeah, I could call you my mate. Why, at the end of the day, did you throw it all away now? Yeah, hey, I'm gonna tell you for a little bit. I'm fucking over all this little shit. Can't you read between the lines? This oppressive, how confined. Damn it, man, losing my mind. You're so fucking.
I mean, I enjoy the strings, the guitar and the strings separately. I think the strings with the slight kind of legato raises there with the slight crescendos there. It's a bit of drama there. And the guitar melody is just really pretty. The arpeggios over top.
When you're speaking gibberish, I'm sick of it, you idiot. If you're so smart, why you so oblivious and ignorant? But my heart, can't you read it bleeding and leaking all this goddamn fucking bitterness? I'm sick of this. You're so full of shit. You're so fucking dumb and illiterate. I took a stand and looking back, are we so different? It doesn't matter. The time is up. I'm a fucking rapper, and now I'm stuck with all these feelings flowing, rising up on the cusp, getting all puffed to the point of right, jumping by my plant rump tonight. I'm this truck, I'm about to erupt. I'm gonna drop a couple hidden facts. Why? Cause some people saying this and that. I'm sure you'll take it as me talking smack.
I mean, like, it's nice to have, again, the bass and drums kind of pop out here. I wonder if we are going to have varying chord progressions between tracks, or if this is going to sort of predominantly sort of situate around like a main idea per thing. I think it helps to segment a track when each song has a sort of sense of unique identity. I think part of the length of these tracks also helps because they're under that 4-minute sweet spot. I just don't know if we would have been able to keep the same idea for more than 4, so I'm glad we had that length to it. The vocals are really the focal point.
I won't call you my mate. I'll give it all to you straight. Now you're a person I hate. Why? I said it to your face on the night we had a fight. You had an issue you brought to light. Quite the sight. I think you might need a tissue. Have a cry. Yeah, I spoke to your girl who was all on her own. I gave my beer a little swirl, asked her how was work. I saw a dragon emerge. What's this Game of Thrones? Don't know what you heard. Why you so pissed? Bro, I don't get it. Not like we kissed. Bro, don't fucking sweat it. You're the one that missed when you left her out, all up in the midst of a big night out. Don't you get the gist?
Alright, so as opposed to Big Bad Wolf, which is more about, I suppose, Archer talking about themselves and their position being dangerous and where they came from and like the predator sort of aspect, This is more sort of like talking a mate through why they dislike him and the drama that unfolded there.
Out for you. On that night I planned for you. Now it's all misconstrued. But when you accused, my image was bruised. So my click views blew. But now I write tunes that time this anger, sadness, and frustration. Changing faster than songs on a radio station. I'm losing patience.
Oh, there's variation with the guitar lines actually.
These ropes that I'm shaking can't lose is what I'm saying. Oh, forget about you, mate. Oh, get about under this weight. Oh, move on to today. Now, off to the world I'll create. Now, feeling free and shit. Free from all this wickedness. No longer listening to all this goddamn vociferous shit. I have given it my all to climb up this wall, to rise up and stand tall.
That's good that we got out of it, I suppose. You know. Yeah, I think this album is relatively sort of like easy for me to review in the sense that a lot of the differentiation is going to come from how the lyrics come across, because when we have that theme established with the guitars, the occasional strings, the bass and the drums were similar instruments used, I think, to the previous one, at least core components of the bass and the drums, etc. Yeah, it's because if we go to lyrics, yeah, I mean, like, I know that I talked about what I thought the lyrics were about before. Can I make them even bigger than this? I can. Here, that's a bit bigger for you. I think the first verse is talking about the feelings they had towards his mate and how they've just been really stupid and just completely kind of irresponsible, and how it's really affected Archer, you know, because I doubt that Archer wants to be in a position where they feel that way about it. And then he talks about how, like, he ended up with the guy, I suppose the mate's girl, I suppose, and how she was just alone whilst he was out with friends, and now he's mad because Archer was there, just like, I don't know, just talking to her and just spending time with her, you know? And just that toxicity of the situation, I think, is what caused this. Yeah, I'll forget about you, mate. I'll get up under this weight. I'll move on today. Now off to the world I'll create. Yep, I get it. So yeah, I think that Mate is about someone who has just had someone in their life who's toxic, and just they maybe had a good relationship beforehand, but then they sort of stepped away and realized that they were kind of a piece of crap. They weren't really being good to the person they were with, and then they reacted badly when Archer got involved, or like not involved, but like nothing happened, but like they were very possessive and jealous and stuff like that, and you know, Archer just kind of walked away from it. I think that's some of the purest stuff to write music from. It's just simply your relationships with other people, and if you can personalize and niche it, it not only, I suppose, becomes less sort of generic, but it also, because a lot of people will be able to relate to the subject matter, but it also, if you're trying to make it as a track aimed towards someone, they're definitely going to recognize it, you know, and it makes it you seem kind of braver, I think, as a musician for being more specific. I think the guitars sounded wistful with the arpeggios. I think they are a good choice of instrument for this. I liked how there were some variations on the leads and the upper edge as well. The drums and bass, they were either there or they had some sort of 8/16 grooves on the kicks and claps or something like that. The bass had it was the same note for a lot of it. So again, like, there wasn't a massive amount of variety in the way things were performed or struck together. It was just literally a foundation for the story to be told. In that respect, I think it was good. I think I prefer Mate to the previous track. I kind of understood this one better. Maybe I just needed more time with Big Bad Wolf, but regardless, yeah, still two good tracks. We got Anaesthetic next, track number 3. I do like these quieter intros though. Bit of dynamic range, as I've said before, with a different instrument in the music box.
I am not a feeling, so don't treat me like you dentist, and please stop cooking shit up like a chemist. I never asked, I'll repeat it, not forget it. Did you dash, that your chances fucking perish. Talking to you is like huffing anesthetic. Blah blah, yeah, puts me to sleep.
Just the attitude of the way the words are expressed as well. It's just very blunt. I kind of dig it.
Inherited genetic. Nah, get the fuck away from me. Now you're looking like a rat-tat-tat. I wanna come in for the matchup, scotch and fire. Turn you into ashes, how I catch 'em, choke a lie with a ratchet nuts. She boats looking batshit, thread is bare, you can't hack it. Insane to the brain, I cut you lacking. Stole from work, dragon on, step your game up and turn your gain up.
Good job with the vocal filtering.
You fucking flamers. Sex game is heinous. Look like an anus. Don't ignorate. Yeah, I am not a villain, so don't treat me like your dentist. And please stop cooking shit up like a chemist. I never asked, I'll repeat it, not forget it. Did you dash? Now your chances fucking perish. Talking to you is like huffing anesthetic. Blah blah, yeah, puts me to sleep. Maybe the bitchiness inherited genetic. Nah, get the fuck away from me.
It's a really peaceful theme. When we talk about Anaesthetic, the music box, you know, it does sound like you're going to sleep. So I think it was a good instrument to choose here.
If you drop the act down, tell you what I'm thinking ain't. Catching feelings, not a feeling for your ex, bitch. You run your mouth, then you fucking went with all the shit that was fake and that made up in your head glitch. PC running race with your dead sticks. Needs to thinking hectic, you dead chick, you empty, not trending. When you're silent beat, I'm telling you that it is plenty. Comment of the century, turn it into reverie. Turn it into reverie. Comment of the century, telling you is plenty. Telling you're not trendy. And this chick is empty. And this chick is hectic. Catch me smoking dead sticks.
I mean, it's just good to have, again, the kind of filter drums come in with the vocals like that. It just allows for a point of difference between vibes of the track.
Yeah, I am not a villain, so don't treat me like you dance.
Especially with the consistency of the way the choruses are done, and the delivery within some of the vocal parts, and the verse parts, should I say.
Did you dash? Now your chances fucking perish. Talking to you is like huffing anesthetic. Blah blah, yeah, puts me to sleep. Maybe the bitchiness inherited genetic. Nah, get the fuck away from me.
I'm surprised we haven't done more double tracking. Or maybe we have done double tracking. We could just be putting the double tracks in the center of the stereo field. They could just also be incredibly tight. And a slow fade out to boot. I don't mind like having the theme continue beyond the last chorus part. Sometimes it can be also good just to have it kind of bluntly stop. Just simply, that's the end of the track. You know, you've said the words there, especially if you've had enough time to get used to it, if you had enough consistency with the theme beforehand. We got the lyrics for Anaesthetic though. I think I already kind of understand what this is about. I am getting the words through clearly, but it also kind of helps to, you know, kind of confirm stuff. Chocolate with a ratchet nut, she bolts looking batshit. Thread is berry, you can't. Thread is berry, you can't hack it. No, nice, I get it. Insane to the brain, I caught you lacking. Gold stole from work, now you're paying, sack it. Oh, lonely wrist, now you tag up, dragging up, step your game up. There's interesting wordplay here, you know. The part where it said look like an anus born of Uranus, that got a laugh out of me. You know, there's a bit of humor here as well, which is kind of dope. I don't know what we're talking about. Catch me smoking death sticks. Are we talking about cigarettes? Is that it? Is it something else? I feel like that's too on the nose. Yeah, so like after having another check through Anaesthetic's lyrics, we talked about the guy saying he wasn't her ex. So I'm assuming that potentially Anaesthetic is basically talking about how maybe Archer, the person Archer was with, they just kept talking and maybe they just ended up being like a really boring person. And they didn't want to be around that person anymore, primarily because of how they affected them, like putting them to sleep and stuff like that. The death sticks, maybe they smoked and stuff like that. I'm not sure. It could be something else. But basically, or maybe that they think that Archer smokes death sticks and they're not into that, you know, etc. Maybe they call them that. Either way, you know, like I'm sure that people will be able to relate to the feeling of being with someone and then putting them to sleep and just not wanting to have anything else to do with them. Again, the music box thing we had where like it's kind of like a lullaby-ish kind of sort of tone to it, that worked well because that's what you hear but when you're like a little kid and your parents put it on to kind of get you to go to sleep. So I think that makes sense. And the bass and drums, the 808s, as well as the kits we had there. Even if we had sort of variations between the filtered sort of like hi-hat cymbal kind of clap parts going into the main beats, they're very similar to what we've had before. we seem to kind of pick a different instrument that suits the story, and then we just have like the main sort of fundamentals that we think fits well within the genre, and then we put our story over top and kind of close it like that. I think for the most part it works. Again, I wouldn't mind having an alternate kind of like chord progression occasionally, or like a variation with that, but I think if we're again working with the concept of having like a core beat and then like moving on from that, it's okay. We've got Ascendant though, track number 7. Very legato-ish, almost sort of like portamento to those, since there were some choir parts.
Yeah. Fuck all of the gold and the silver
Drill?
and the bronze. At the end, yeah. I'm gonna do what I want. Yeah, fuck the gold and the chains ain't around my neck. When I say I don't want money, I'd say it's a stretch. I won't say no to the green, whether it be Brnz or weed. Yeah, I do want respect. I just ain't got the greed. I wanna reach the top and I wanna touch the peak.
I would appreciate if we'd explored the stereo field, should I say, a bit more with the vocals. We could have potentially had some vocals kind of come on the sides to kind of emphasize certain parts of the hook. That's it basically. Everything else is good though. Like I can tell I've got a call and response between the main parts and like the filtered sort of sides parts, or the filtered. There's some lines that aren't EQ filtered and some that are.
Do you know who you're testing? Can't contest it. I'll go and mess with every fucking dude that's got a goddamn death wish. You've got a death wish. You will perish. Now you're decapitated. Demons spewing fire, exaggerated. Then I went and graduated. Moved into life, exasperated. Do as I please, cause tracks of ease. You see, I'm devilish.
Pause.
All of the exes tried. All of the exes
Great.
died. Can't cleanse all the demons inside. Listen. You hear the voices are saying that you should be praying, kneeling down onto your knees, then begging and pleading, begging and screaming, to both the caps of your knees are bleeding. You've opened the gates of hell and now it's open season. I like my beef done well on my competition season, with some of the nicest spices on all of my priciest chinas. Upon a darker sky, a blood moon is rising. Mortals calling the crisis, while they're calling the Tyson are rising. Better go get some ice in it. You're in the ring with Tyson and yeah.
Interesting we mentioned to Tyson. Something I've noticed instrumentally, or like maybe in regards to the production, is when we come back in to, like, we had a filtered part then, and by filtered I mean like we had some sort of like, was it even filtered though? We just had there be no drums and no bass after that last sort of hook section. We came down and the synth sounded a bit lower, and we had like vocal parts kind of talking between each other. But when the 808s came in and the kicks after that, it wasn't as much of a it didn't have as much oomph as I was expecting. I don't know whether that's because of the gluing of the track or the sealing we got in the compressors and stuff like that. It didn't slap as hard as I thought it was going to at that point in that re-entry. I don't know if we're simply going for more of a smooth mix or not, but it's
fucking Ascendant. I'ma go get it, get all the bread shit, then wash it down with some Henny and spirits. Then I get down some diesel, going up in flames like I'm a house, but an evil. All on my name, try the point, tuck a string on my bone like an arrow, aim at a flea fucking marrow. While I'm puffing on a joint vision, now, flying arrow, blow. But you're a mouse in the game, got a macro with a shortcut. Now it's cutting on the rot of the guillotine, now it's gonna drop into your throat. This ain't shit that you ever seen, not a scene should be seen. Keep it to your dreams, out of my lane, up my street, out of my way, under the beats by Dre, yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous speed there. Like, the flow is solid. I think in regards to sort of variety, the variety of different rhythms that we wrapped in this point, this is it, man. Like, to be able to get those syllables and consonants through that clearly is great. The guy's clearly solid on a mic. I'm really happy you got to listen to Ascendant. Probably one of my favorite tracks, primarily because of that last part, just with how we flowed, I suppose. But after listening through Ascendant, to be honest, I'm not necessarily sure what it's about. You know, we talk about I'm a fucking Ascendant. Do you know who you're testing? Can't contest it. I'll go and mess with every fucking dude that's got a goddamn death wish. So we harkening back to the Big Bad Wolf track where we're sort of showing what we're made of and like kind of not sort of go against us. You hear the voices that are saying that you should be praying, kneeling down onto your knees and begging and pleading, begging and screaming till both of the caps in your knees are bleeding. I mean, this is pretty visceral stuff. Talking about a darkened sky, a blood moon is rising, mortals calling a crisis while it will call an enticing horizon. Better go get some ice on it. You're in the ring with Tyson and yeah, okay, right. I think I understand it. Yeah, aiming for your fucking marrow while I'm puffing on a joint. Vision narrow, narrow, narrow. This is combat music, man. This is combat music, dude. Out of my lane, onto the beats by Dre. Nice reference there. Yeah, so I think again with that sort of drill aesthetic of the drum parts there, as well as some higher sort of like 808s going down to low there with the choirs and the synths there. It was very tense and sort of kind of angsty. And I think that what we were talking about with being Ascendant, being on top of the game, no one coming against us, etc., telling what we're going to do to others if they come up against us, it kind of makes sense for the style of music. You know, I suppose. And in regards to the chemistry of the different elements, I think they did sync quite well. Again, I know I was kind of vague or maybe even superfluous in what I was discussing with the kicks and 808s not hitting as hard. I think it was because some of the choir and string bits were maybe a little bit loud, or like there wasn't enough headroom for them to kind of slap against them and kind of interrupt them. It could also be like the headphones that I'm using. I could also be out of touch and not understanding that's just how they are done nowadays. I'm used to there being more of a kick to it. But either way, it's fine. It's not like they were weak. It's just I'm greedy at this point because I've heard some really dope stuff in this album so far and I just want more. We got Eyes Like the Ocean. But I appreciate the way the finger-picked parts sound here. Is that a synth or like a string instrument? Great following that melody though on a sub.
Her eyes blue, like the depths of the ocean. This chick is in motion, touching my skin like it's lotion. Getting so close, yeah, think I'm getting the notion. That shit that I'm smoking.
Bomb, bomb, bomb. It's just such a bombastic sub there. It's great. It's fun to listen to, man.
Then turn to a potion. Yeah, oh shit, she moaning, she open, lost in the depths of the ocean. Oh shit, no shit, I guess it's just how it goes, yeah. Her eyes blue, they went and drew me in. Before I knew I went and bought a drink, one for me and one for you. That's when I started, when it all grew. I wanted one, now you want it all. Try as I might, I took the fall. Then you went and then performed some voodoo. After the weeks had passed, I grew to start needed and clinging right to you. Up on my needs and my views to threw me out and brought me back in. Knew then I played again and again. Boomerang, you kept coming back in, but I can blame you know when it takes.
What I like about it as well is that we've got a similar phrasing with the rhythms of the rapped verses and lines to what's going on with that guitar part. Often we might sort of follow it alongside the drums or something like that, but here we're allowing the dominant sort of like side lead there to kind of interact with the main, and it's a great point of sort of synergy and unison.
Know when it takes to, a means to an end. It's not that I hate you, I just need it to end. I cannot talk to my friends, I cannot fret or depend. I cannot move forward to grow or ascend. I'm at this point in my life, time to get out of bed, time to get out my head. I need to wake up some space, yeah, I'm telling you I cannot take it. I like you, you know that, but I am sick of this thirst trap. No crack, no lines, I'm in control of my own mind. Her eyes blue, like the depths of the ocean.
We had the double track in there. So I know I've interrupted a few times. It's simply because if I don't point this out now, I might forget it later on. Because there's a lot going on. That double track in there where things were a little bit wider was really effective. That's what I wanted, yeah.
Think I'm getting the notion. The shit that I'm smoking, I can't think for a moment. Pulsing around like Trojans. This drink is so spiky. Then turn to a potion. Yeah, oh shit, she moaning, she open, lost in the depths of the ocean. Oh shit, no shit, I guess it's just how it goes, yeah.
We're going to follow up with the hi-hats and the snares with the plucked strings. It's like a mandolin or like a lute or something like that. It's a cool instrument. I kind of dig it. I like the tone of it. But it could also be a sampled instrument. I'm not sure. So I think I had a better idea of what this was about. I think it's about like getting stuck on someone that you can't really sort of leave, but you really need to. You know, her eyes blue like the depths of the ocean. This chick is in motion, touching my skin like a lotion. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, basically, I think that maybe this is someone that they're really into and they're just struggling to get away from, you know. I wanted one night, you wanted all, try as I might, I took the fall. Damn. Oh, start needing and clinging right to you, warping my needs. Oh. Oh, so it just turned into a toxic relationship, did it? I'm sick of this thirst trap, no crack, no lines, I'm in control of my own mind. Oh, what? Oh, because I think we might have been talking about that kind of harder stuff in Big Bad Wolf as well. Are we going back to that? Is this entire album about his sort of relationships with his mates and like his exes and girlfriends and stuff like that? Is that the sort of like aesthetic that we're going for here? Horsing around like Trojans. I think that's clever considering this drink is so spiky. It turned into a potion. Yeah, no, there's some clever wordplay here. This guy can clearly write. I do appreciate the effort that we're putting into this here. But I do think that, yeah, it's definitely about a situation where we've got someone who we're just insatiably attracted to, but we realize the relationship is not healthy for us. And even if we really like this person, we just need to kind of separate ourselves and get distance, especially in previous other tracks like Mate, where we were talking about getting out from under that weight. We've also got to separate ourselves from the love interests and other sort of lusts sort of issues that we have as well. But again, like similarly, I think if I'm not mistaken to Mate, if I'm not mistaken with that, you had again the kind of triplet sort of picked parts. Like it's almost like when we've got this kind of sort of awkward tension with someone, we really kind of want to communicate through that the complexity of those total sort of chord shapes, and splitting them up makes it seem a little bit sort of more old school, more sort of organic and down to earth. Just the final comment before we move on, I like those little bass parts that were like that. I thought that was really dope because we had just this lovely sort of like sense of movement there where it was like help to split parts in two. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, if you don't have those kind of extra bits of I suppose intensity, it just seems relatively consistent. That's the issue I think I had with the previous track there, where things sounded the 808s in this one, they were a different type, I think, a different type of bass. So they just go boom, 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 more sort of blockish, and they kind of helped to cut into the mix, and it kind of made it sort of stand out a bit more. Then again, it's still subjective, you know, but still, I like the Ocean. I can understand why it's got about 1,000 or so plays. I think that's great. We've got a Soldier, track number 9. Oh, great piano line. Going to that low range there on the left. Oh man, that bass line, dude. What are we going to do with this one?
When the muzzles flash.
Good.
In and made a splash. I'll paint the walls red once I kill them all dead. Active shooter. I am a threat, always up in all these secret fights. Happy CVs, fucking sleep at night. If I tell you tales, you'll shiver and fright. Scary, right? To hold on to you, right?
I've been waiting for a faster track. I think that his flow, like when he raps more slowly, he has to kind of hold on to those words and those phonetic points. And it works, but he's got a great sort of percussiveness to the way that Archer expresses himself. So to have that come through more clearly with quicker tempo is great.
Right, yeah, out of sight, right, out of mind, right, better cry once I die. Oh, you're crying babies, don't know what I'm about. What you think, military, just scream and shout. Marching in a line, punishing foreign crimes. If I was to explain, I'd run out of time. But I can't run out of time, can't when it's the essence of all these standing orders and missions. Trying to save all these innocent men and women. Save them all from oppression from these powers. And the suppression of their simple rights.
Very useful low pass there.
Go and shoot the bad guys. Just point and click like a game. But children ain't the same when you're under pressure. Ain't got the leisure to hit a restart. But forget it ever happen. Replay the same scene and live with that without regret. And there's no aggression when your homie takes a bullet. It's the ending. You gotta go and see his wife explain what happened in the strike. Go and see a woman cry when she realized her hubby's never coming home. How she gotta raise their children all alone. And then listen to teens on their phone saying how hard their fucking life is when they don't know what strife is. When they don't.
When teens talk about how hard their life is when they don't know what strife is. That's a fair point. You know, a lot of teens would probably not be able to relate to having to go to a person, someone tell our wife that their husband is dead.
Understand how lucky life is, how lucky keeping their rights is, safely sleeping nights is. With my boots on the ground, it is what it seems. Nightmarish fight and bloodshed and the violence. Grown men crying when their team hit a landmine and got wiped from the earth. When the muzzles flash, walked on in and made a splash. I'll paint the walls red once I kill them all dead. Active shooter, I am a threat, always up in all these secret fights. Happy CVs, fucking sleep at night. If I tell you tales, you'll shiver in fright. Scary, right, to hold on to you.
So we've had like inclinations of Big Bad Wolf with like the Predator thing and the Ascendant. We're like taking down anyone around us. A soldier's interesting. I'll let it play out a bit more. Actually, no, that's the end of the beat. Like, what is the deal with this one? When the muzzles flash, like I understand, you know, walked in and made a splash. So I suppose that we're talking, always up in all these secret fights, help you civvies fucking sleep at night. If I tell you tales, you shiver in fright, scary right to hold on to your rights. Oh, so yeah, we're talking, oh, I get it. So am I to understand that Archer might have had something to do with the military, like they might have served overseas and gone through that stuff, etc.? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're talking about literally like being in the army. I would have to assume that'd be the same. I suppose maybe we're sort of commenting on how a lot of people sort of take what they have for granted, and Archer is saying that you shouldn't, because there's people literally sacrificing themselves in order to give you the life that you have, and to, you know, like, you should be making the most of it. When the muzzles flash, walked on in and made a splash. I'll paint the walls red once I kill them all dead. Active shooter, I'm a threat. So I'm just kind of sort of like trying to sort of like put them together though. So like when we talk about I'll paint the walls red once I kill them all dead, active shooter, I'm a threat. When we talked about losing everyone earlier on, is that we're like suffering from guilt for the people that we've killed? Like either literally or like, I'm not sure how to take it. I'm a little bit confused. I mean that in like a kind way. I'm not sort of like trying to make like kind of trying to sort of be weird about it or anything like that. I'm just trying to sort of like connect how when we're talking about like people going overseas and being in the army and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm immensely grateful for it. Like again, I grew up at a time where, you know, if New Zealand soldiers hadn't gone overseas, you know, as well as Australian ones, you know, the Anzacs hadn't gone overseas and done their thing, we wouldn't have the world that we have today. It's I respect people who serve. I'm just trying to sort of figure out when we talk about how we're an active shooter, if that's a literal thing or like we're sort of trying to compare it to our rapping. But anyways, the beat itself is great. I appreciate the difference. Sort of like there were some bells in there. There's some fun sort of synths there. They were kind of into coalescing with each other. There was a great sense of rhythm with the sort of different sort of bass and kick parts. This felt a bit more sort of like lush with how sort of close things were together. Because it was quicker, I think it suited the flow of Archer's verses better. We also left space there where we kind of allowed the beat to kind of be by itself. So we kind of came in to feature only when it was necessary. And I have a lot of love for that. I also think that the leveling and EQing and stuff in this track was quite good as well. There was enough dynamic range in this one. But anyways, moving on from Red Alert featuring Brnz. Red Alert. Good to have a couple of features on an album, you know? Show that you can work with other people too.
Yeah, red alert, yeah, I'm a red alert, hit the dirt, I'm a bomb and I'm going off, red alert, yeah, red alert, yeah, go and fucking hit the dirt, red alert, yeah.
I love the kick spin. It's just like dun 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 dun. It's just a fun rhythm, man. It's really intense.
I'm a bomb and I'm going off, red alert, yeah, red alert, yeah, go and fucking hit the dirt, yeah, go and hit the dirt, ain't a nerd, pieces live you can discern, my lethality, I'm conspiring like a felony, yeah, you can't tie me to anything, got a witness or evidence, got a warrant, no, whoa, fine then, here's the finger that you get, take a page from Eminem, not the pinky thumb, it's the one golden gun that you send when you're it done when enough is enough. And the titties are tough, and I don't give a fuck when I'm on my 10th cup and I'm spewing my guts. When I go get my cut, when the blow is all up, when my throat has a lump, when I beat to the drum, when I go take a dump, and the line that I bump, and my toe that I stop, eating toast in the tub, when I go interrupt, yeah, I go fuck.
Toast in the tub? There was a lot to take in this last section. I'm going to be looking forward to, and it sort of forces you with the sub layers of like the vocal parts and the synths and the boom kind of thing to sort of really pay attention to that.
I'm a red alert, yeah, I'm a red alert, hit the dirt, I'm a bomb and I'm going off, red alert, yeah, yeah, red alert, yeah, gon' fucking hit the dirt, red alert, yeah, I'm a red alert, hit the dirt, I'm a bomb and I'm going off, red alert, yeah, yeah, red alert, yeah, gon' fucking hit the dirt.
Brnz.
Yeah, the signs they be lurking. Baby shawty, you can get that Birkin started twerking. I be filling up my cup of liquor, ain't that bourbon. 1942 got me tripping just like a surgeon. Ay, got me feeling lazy. Up in the wood, you fuck around and take your bitch. The money that we spending make you gonna feel sick. The diamonds on my neck give it a chills, 100 bills. I'ma play the game, I'ma take the shots. 150,000 in my pocket to make a lot. She just wanna dance, I tell her make a squat. Booty going up and down, I got that shit on lock, yeah. Red alert.
I actually really enjoyed Brnz's verse. It's not often that like I feel like a feature necessarily improves a track. I think the melodies, the da 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 da, and we kind of had that there. It was just a great. It harmonized really nicely with the backing, and it was a nice contrast to the more sort of like rhythm focused stylings of ARCH3R stuff.
Yeah.
Complemented really well.
Hit the dirt, I'm a bomb and I'm going off, red alert.
And they come together now, which is really cool.
Red alert, yeah, gon' fucking hit the dirt, red alert, yeah, I'm a red alert, hit the dirt, I'm a bomb and I'm going off, red alert, yeah, yeah, red alert, yeah, gon' fucking hit the dirt, yeah, can I break the circuit, I am cursed, yeah, forever cursed to this earth, to go berserk, to roam this hell, to loan these L's, too stoned to tell. Cause my phone got no tone. These hoes button O's. This home I don't own. These bones in my tome. This gloom is my doom. So I'll blow, yeah I'll go. I'll be touring every city in my country. Then you know that this fucking rapper that you should have heard of.
I love this man.
Flipped the game, slipped on not too long. Now I ain't the same. Fired all the synapses that be managing my brain. When you say my name, better not be in fucking vain. Cause of poor management, yeah, I'm insane. Smoking every strain, smoke to ease the pain. All these past lives I have lived, all these past lives I have slain. A new me every day, that's what I call a game.
Okay, just before we go into the lyrics, I want to give a shout out for getting rid of like the synth kind of key patterns that we had in the background of the first sort of 2/3 of like ARCH3R's first verse and then Brnz's verse. To allow ARCH3R to continue on that third part without anything apart from the bass and the drums was just such a breath of fresh air to have that different sort of like personality to the backing there. It was so much more blunt. You hear like a sense of crispness and also a bit of sort of grind to the tones there. I really enjoyed that. Well done. We got the lyrics here for Red Alert. Red alert, yeah, I'm a red alert. Hit the dirt, I'm a bomb and I'm going off. Red alert, yeah, red alert, yeah, go and fucking hit the dirt. Yeah, okay, I get it. Like, my lethality, I'm conspiring like a felony. Yeah, you can't tie me. Oh, okay. Ain't the pinky thumb, it's the one golden gun that you send when you're done. Oh, I get it. So eating toast in the tub when I go and interrupt you, I go and fucking say red alert. Oh, I get it. Okay, so basically, Brnz's verse is sort of like flexing and like the time that they're spending with girls and stuff like that. The diamonds on the neck and like money and all that kind of stuff. And then like Red Alert, it's just basically talking about how like there's a sense of danger around these guys because of the threat they impose and stuff like that. Whatever they do in their lives or when they're at their best. Is that it? Like the contrast was Red Alert for ARCH3R for everything, Brnz Red Alert for when they're sort of like on their A game, etc. Because of poor management, I'm insane, smoking every strain, smoking to ease the pain. Yeah, I think I get it, yeah. Okay, so that's basically the aesthetic we're going for there. It's basically communicating red alert, not just in the sense of like the general sort of like being aware of them and not sort of taking them for lightly, but it's also just that they're in danger to them, maybe even to themselves. But yeah, I think I've commented mostly. A lot of the comments I've had about the bass and the drums are similar throughout most of the album because they're consistent elements there. It's just you had like piano parts here, which had a really sort of pretty piano sort of like idea. There's a nice little bit of sort of like both hands continuing on there, the synths continuing as well throughout there. We might have even seen sort of some twinkles up in that higher range, but nothing too extravagant within this one. It was still vocal focused, and again, I appreciate the different sort of vocal styles between the two. We got Samurai, track number 11 today, or this the 8th. Is it Shima-sen or something like that?
Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die.
Would love to play one of those instruments, so.
Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die. Yeah, I'll grab on my katana, cause to me, go with the B, yeah. Over all this drama, I'ma smash a cunt, then mix some liquor with guarana, then I go smoke a blunt, hippity hoppity time, then go again, yeah. Go again, like what's over, yeah. Never
unison with the string part.
Sipping on my drink, getting hammered to a fucking finish, yeah. Where I can't even think, yeah. Tripping and falling and stumbling over my own fucking feet, so please stay. Yeah, 10 feet away, what was I about to say? Smashing on a dot and ashing in your face, yeah. Then I go and do it again, yeah. Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die, till I die, till I die.
Till I die, till I die, till I die, till I die. It's nice to have that looping there, the bomb, 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 to instantiate the sort of suggest there's going to be a new part.
Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die. Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die. Yeah, find me up in heaven, but I tell ya, I went and fell, yeah, down the hell, yeah. Now I'm stuck down in the cellar, I wish down the well, yeah. My estate is gonna sell, but I miss the stepsis, yeah, I miss the mattress, yeah, I miss the stacks, yeah, not Mr. Average. I haven't got a big car, yeah, got a little one. That means by universal definition that I got the biggest dick around. Ain't revving on the sound, going spending my amounts on investments, invested in myself, yeah. Thinking for a future with the wealth, yeah. Hope my stocks do well, yeah. Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die, till I die, till I die, till I die.
I mean, you just kind of nod your head in a way that's very satisfying to it, because there's a chord note groove there. There's that dun dun da 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 dun with the tremolo picking there, and then the bass kind of follows along. The vocals are very sort of like well received and placed nicely with the rest as well.
Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die. Yeah, fuck it up, 47 rolling time. Yeah, fuck it up like a fucking samurai. Yeah, fuck it up all the way until I die. Yeah.
Ah, nice work. So we've also got the bit of sort of sword foley near the end, kind of the swoosh of the blade going past. I didn't get as much as sort of like a natural kind of hint at what was going on from this one than previous ones. So I forgot to press the lyrics and listening times buttons properly, but that's okay. Fucking lit it up, 47 Ronin time. Oh, 47 Ronin time. Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah, I'll grab on my katana because to me going to be, yeah, all over this drama, I must smash a cunt and mix some liquor with guarana, then I'll go smoke a blunt hippity hoppity time, then go again, yeah, go again, lice over. Yeah, okay. Alright. Tripping and falling and stumbling over my own fucking feet. Oh, so we're talking about sort of failing upwards or something like that, where like, we're just going to continue going through this roulette of kind of getting sort of like, I suppose, fucked up, and then like involving other people in it, then like coming back again as a samurai the next day. But down to hell, yeah, now I'm stuck down in the cellar, I wish well, down the well, yeah, my state is going to sell, but I missed the stepsis. Oh, I haven't got a big car, yeah, I got a little one by means of universal definition that I got the biggest dick around. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because it's a comment on how, like, if you have like a big car, you have a tiny dick, but if you have a small car, then you have a big one, right? I understand that. Yeah. Thank you for a future worth of wealth. Yeah, I hope my stocks do well, yeah. Okay, so basically, I think this track is sort of suggesting that, like, even if we're not necessarily doing so well with our actual life, and like we get sort of messed up at parties and stuff like that, our focus is on eventually sort of continuing to push through it regardless, and getting to a point with our rap and our career and stuff like that things will improve and we'll get to a better place and eventually become wealthy. And yeah, okay, all right, I kind of get it. I think that the track itself, with the samurai aesthetic, with like the Japanese sort of traditional instrument, I want to say shimisen, but I'm not necessarily sure if that is actually it, and I feel like I should know that. Then again, I'm going to Japan later on this year, so I might even be able to get a hold of one of those instruments, which would be kind of cool to bring back to New Zealand. But either way, I think that the bass drum suited well with that main sort of theme on that instrument. The vocals had a great sense of sort of rhythmic unison with it, which is so vital and integral to this. We had double trackings of the vocals alongside the main ones, which are good. We had variations between that and the stereo field, and I think this was a solid track. It was nice and short as well, so it was kind of easy to absorb. We got the final track for today, Corner of the Club, featuring Brnz. So let's go, let's do it. What do we have for the finale?
Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. I'll be doing my thing. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Can't even get a drink. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Yeah, it is what you think, and I mean, yeah. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Can't even get a drink.
I do like the vocal chops there. I think they're really interesting. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily getting behind the vomit in the corner of the club thing, but I suppose we'll get more sort of context as we go. You know, that's not like a personal judgment thing. I'm just not sure how it's going to sort of like relate to the rest of the track yet. But it's nice to have the drums come back as well.
Before I walked in, got my smoke gun, puffing on another blunt, yeah. I was stalling, got my coat off, gonna get what I want. Walked up to the bar, flashing my card, pulling vodka, yeah. The night starts, flipping my cards, playing with some nice eyes. Hit a couple Jaeger bombs, now it's on. Got a baddie getting rowdy, now she going little messy. Popped an addy, now I'm happy, now she blowing like a fatty. Kobe Pappy, kinda tacky, now it's getting hot and heavy. Not too shabby, kinda classy, now we smoking like a Chevy. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. I'll be doing my thing. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Can't even get a drink. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Yeah, it is what you think, yeah. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Can't even get a drink.
Yeah, she can get that drink. I tell that bitch she need to give that waiter money, cause I ain't paying shit. I be stacking on my Benjis like if money make a sense. I be fucking all these bitches, I be taking all the pics, yeah. I just take a shot just like an athlete. I just took that big shot, need that big bag with that money. She got the fat ass with chunky hips and monkey lips, yeah. Sit that fat ass on me, baby, let me see you dip, yeah. Let me see them hips swing, let me see them diamonds in my wrist, let me see them blink. She just want a shot. I tell the bitch she need a walk on. Catch me in the club in the corner.
Find me in the corner.
I kind of preferred him with the tuning that he had in the previous verse. I think his voice is fine, don't get me wrong, but again, I preferred the contrast of like sort of like the auto-tune, kind of like the way it was sort of like almost like synth-like versus the more sort of straightforward kind of rapped components.
Club, yeah.
Still a solid verse, but yeah, just stylistically, I think.
Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Can't even get a drink. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Yeah, it is what you think, ketamine, yeah. Find me in the corner of the club, yeah. Can't even get a drink.
Nice variation with the hi-hat grooves, the 16ths and stuff like that. I appreciate the drum components there. I thought they were nice, as well as the vocal chops and the other sort of little bits of kind of fancy on side of that. Lyrically, vomit, find me in the corner of the club. Oh, I thought he was saying vomit. It must just be in the must just be an accent thing. I heard vomit in the corner of the club. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. So apology. I mean, wait, hang on. No, it's not. Do I need to apologize if I didn't hear something correctly? Not like I did that on purpose, or it was even necessarily an accident. Got a baddie getting rowdy, now she's going a little messy. Now I'm happy. Popped an addy, now she's blowing like confetti. Call me Papa, kind of tacky. Now it's getting hot and heavy, not too shabby, kind of classy. Now we're smoking like a Chevy. It's sick. Like the way that we kind of wrap these parts, you know, like the way the words float together is really solid. He clearly knows how to sort of polish bars and everything like that. It's great. Brnz's one is a little bit sort of like more focused on like money and fucking the bitches and everything like that. It's a more sort of, I mean, like, to be fair, a lot of it is, you know, flipping my cards, playing with some nice odds, hit a couple of Jaeger bombs. Yeah, now it's on. I just want a shot. I tell her, bitch, you need to walk on, catch me in the club in the corner. All right, I get it. All right. So basically with this one, I think what we're trying to sort of suggest is that where we're saying, hey, catch me in the club. This is in the corner. If you want to sort of like get the good stuff, etc., you know, like if you want to sort of like get, so you know where you're going to find me. It's an interesting way to sort of follow on from like Samurai and stuff like that. At this point, I mean, I appreciate again what I said about like the drums and like the vocal chops and everything like that and the bass and stuff like that. The stories have been intriguing. We're going to talk about them more in the conclusion. And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this album from an act named ARCH3R, JOURN33 ST. We reviewed tracks 4 through 12 from Big Bad Wolf to Corner of the Club featuring Brnz. Now, what do I think this album is about? I think a lot of this album is a combination of like sort of like the fronting thing, sort of getting people to sort of take us seriously, not sort of like go against us, etc., being a predator and everything like that, talking about how sort of dangerous we are. Some of it is talking about women and like old mates and sort of like fast relationships and failed parts and sort of thirst traps and stuff like that. And some of it is also talking about sort of being in the club and getting drunk and taking stuff and like getting sort of like getting wild on it. And yeah, that's it. That's the journey so far that Archer has had from what I've heard in this album. There's more nuance to it, presumably, but that's what we've got. And I think that in terms of sort of like showing us what they're about and their image and stuff like that, I think they told it well. We can sort of presumably sort of like ascribe a sense of understanding what Archer, who Archer, as well as Brnz from it. Because that's all we can do when we have a musician telling us the stuff. That's all we can sort of like take away from it. Like looking further into it would be ignoring what they're telling us. So I think if I look at the way those topics and the way that they are wrapped, I think that altogether, you know, Archer did well. We're very sort of down to earth and very sort of like matter of fact about it. There's not a wide range of personality shown in the sense that we're not like wildly kind of like diverse in our inflections and various sort of like intensities of emotional sort of phrasing and stuff like that. It's not a theater show, you know what I mean? We're very kind of like forward, and we have a similar kind of way of expressing ourselves throughout each of the tracks there, where I think we're comfortable with that, and I think that's absolutely fine. With Brnz, we had a similar sort of like thing where I think the main difference was again having to treat the auto-tune of Melodyne or whatever it was on Red Alert, and then Corner of the Club being sort of more straightforward with the rap parts. Without that, I think that if you are wanting to sort of get the words through evenly, that's a really good way of doing it, because sometimes if you are too sort of like wild with the way you sort of tell things, it can almost be more distracting and you can lose focus on that more than the content of the story itself. The way we rapped was tight. The wide range of different sort of phrasings there, we sort of understood our main sort of 4 rhythms of quarters, 8s, 16s, and triplets. We experimented with all of them, and I think we also had a sort of a free form kind of flow to it where we weren't necessarily always tied or chained to keeping in perfectly in time. Sometimes we're a little bit off, but in the sense where it's like more of a swagger kind of thing. Like it always had like a swing to it, which I appreciate. And it was a similar way of doing things for Brnz there. I think we were comfortable with the words were written and putting them through clearly, apart from one point where like I misunderstood what was happening in Corner of the Club with the find me in the corner thing. I think all the words typically came through clearly, and even then that could just be me sort of like taking in too many things at once. But either way, no, I think that the rapping was good, and I like that we occasionally had double tracks as well. As well as the single parts, sort of like just as well as some filtered points to kind of call and respond to the main parts. Like filtered being like they didn't have the low frequency, so it kind of sounded like a radio voice or something like that, you know what I mean? Or like going through like a little speaker that helps to differentiate from those mains. The tracks were typically 2 minutes 30 to just under 4 minutes, and I think that was smart. We typically had like one sort of main theme per track that was usually had like a signature instrument, like a keys or like strings or like piano or synths or whatever, maybe like even a couple of them. And then we had the bass and drums, and that was effectively a lot of what was designed here. We had one track, I think it might have been Red Alert, where we took away the synths and pianos and we just kind of transformed the piece entirely in that last verse and made it very sort of more aggressive and grounded. And I really enjoyed that because there was significant adjustment instrumentally with the layers. And it's not to say that I didn't enjoy the other tracks. I feel as if we would have needed to have done more to adjust those chords or bass lines to be able to extend them beyond that, but I think part of the beauty of these tracks with the length was that they told the story that they needed to in that point in time, and it was absolutely fine. To be fair, there were points where we did have things completely stop, or we had vocals kind of fill in the gap, or we took away the drums, or we filtered, I keep saying filtered a lot, we got rid of the high frequencies or like the low frequencies, and we allowed things to sort of simmer or stand, or we had fade outs and stuff like that. There was change and adjustment, and it wasn't the same thing copied and pasted. It's just it's because you had the similar chord progressions and bass lines, regardless of little sort of like, the drums were great. I like the variety of different sort of kick, snare, and simple patterns there. We didn't really have much more than that with them, but within the style of hip hop and rap, I think that's absolutely fine. We also had like really sort of prominent basses, like 808s and stuff like that. They were nice and full sounding, very sort of thick and sometimes even boisterous. I liked some of the tracks that were like boom, 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 you know, kind of squarish sounding. Other times they're more sort of portamento and smooth, which was neat. We had changes within that. I think the basses and drums were some of the best parts about it. The thing is that, you know, I can kind of, I look at Anaesthetic and I can remember that it had a music box. I look at Samurai and I remember that it had like a shimisen or something like a plucked kind of string instrument or something like that. Songs like Mates and Eyes Like the Ocean or the like, that there were songs where like they had again the guitars, the strings, or like the arpeggios going on. When I look at the title of the song, I can kind of remember that signature instrument, but like to me, I feel like I already spoke about what I liked about those in post. Like there were one sort of main sort of like set of notes, a main concept that was either repeated throughout, or in some tracks we had extensions of those lead lines over the top, or various sort of like tails or something like that. We never sort of separated too far from that. It was like we created an environment and we told our story throughout, and that was effectively it. And it works within genres like this. It's totally fine. It's just, if you're looking for a massive kind of Leviathan, kind of like experimental kind of thing, you're not going to get it here, but that's not the point. The focal point of this tracks was to have Archer on top doing their thing. I liked all the different sort of signature instruments, like the keys, the synths, shamisen, the guitars, you know, like I liked all of them when they were there. And again, we had other tracks where we did sort of combine sort of different synths and bass lines or different keys or whatever. We had some parts repeat, etc. It's not like we had one thing per track. Others had like 2 or 3. You can tell some parts were more busy than others. But it's just what it is. And I think that it did help to segment the tracks. The themes of them were different because it was like a per track concept. So I've already spoken about like what I thought the individual themes were. I don't think there are any songs where I couldn't necessarily identify why the songs or instruments were used in the way they are and the way they made sense with the vocals. Like some of them were very on the nose, like in the shimisen with like the samurai thing and the music box with the Anaesthetic. But ultimately, they were charming. They were safe, they were innocuous. There were no points where there were any sort of like tense or uncomfortable situations there. There was no really sort of like edgy parts there with the instrumentation. I don't think that was the point, because again, it was about the vocal focus. I don't think there was a note out of place. And yeah, again, I think that these tracks, because of the bass and drums alone, as well as the vocal parts, sounded consistent and like they were together. So I appreciate that. Studio recording, mixing, and mastering was tight. I've got no real complaints about it. I think that in some tracks it might not have been as much dynamic range as I wanted, such as an Ascendant, but other tracks like Eyes Like the Ocean, I think there was like a bomb, 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 you know, there was like a bit of stabbing there. So I think it was just per track treatment. They had different priorities for different elements, and I think that's okay. It could just be like an EQing thing, like getting rid of lows to allow the sort of like, and someone to allow the lows and others to kind of flow through, but we also just could have liked it not being as kind of like sharp. The leveling in general was more than adequate, you know, like there was nice and wide in the stereo field. There were things that sort of came back and forth. Not a massive amount of range in the stereo field. Like we didn't sort of have things widely kind of going around here all the time, but sometimes the double track vocals would go there. Some instruments just naturally sort of placed the noise parts there, and that was okay. It was nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression limiting was handled, and I think in general the vocal processing was nice. You know, we had a bit of reverb on the vocals as well, we had a bit of auto-tune on Brnz's part there for track number 10, and then we kind of kept it cleaner for 12. Yeah, I think this is a good album. I think that Archer did well releasing this. That's worth noting that like making an album is very difficult. It may not seem like it's a difficult thing, but it really is, because you have to, making a good album is difficult, because you have to not only put 12 tracks together, but you have to make them sound like they kind of fit together. They have to all sound well mixed and mastered, etc. like that. I think that we ticked the boxes, man. I think there's a lot of positives about this, and I enjoyed my time with it, and hopefully you did too, because thank you very much for watching my review of this album from Archer titled Journey Street. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out the various social medias and his SoundCloud page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as he had the hell more than ever thought crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.